And we're back for the final match of the group stage of the Gameshow Dota 2 League. It's been a long road the past 2 days, about 21 hours of streaming, not all the time casting so far, and well, we might get close to that 24 hours in 2 days by the time this game's done, depending on how long it goes. It's Na'Vi versus Virtus Pro. Winner of this match guaranteed to go to the playoffs. They will be 3-2. The loser will be 2-3 and will be tied with M5. I believe the way the tiebreakers are going to work, it comes down to head-to-head. And so then the question is going to be, who won their matchups? I haven't had a chance to check this yet, so I'm going to try and do that as we get into the draft. With that being said, I'm LD Beyond the Summit, and I'm joined here by Blaze. Blaze, while I look that up, walk me through the draft as it's progressed so far.
Sure enough, we started off with an interesting set of bans here from Virtus Pro, banning out the Tinker. A lot of respect there for Dendi and just that hero in general, and Batrider, of course. That's over to Funnick. He's been playing amazing on that hero, and VP just don't want to go up against it. But they are going to open up with Jotams, Mirana, as well as the Razor. BZZ is perfect. Had some issues in positioning in the last game when he played Razor, but they're still confident in the hero in general and what it can bring to their lineup. So they'll pick up the Razor, but this time on the back of those amazing Jotam arrows. Not as sincere, they're going to be going ahead and picking up the Nature's Prophet and Lycan bands, taking out a little bit of push, but picking some up for themselves. The Death Prophet, the Crobulus, if you will, is going to be first pick, and Faceless Void will be the follow-up. So a great combo of heroes. We'll see if Faceless Void is going to be an offlaner or a core here, but either way, we're going to see Death Prophet taken to mid by Dendi. The second banning phase comes out. Doom and Shadow Shaman are the heroes to take off the board, and from there, yeah, they're going to be just kind of taking out the prevalent heroes that would kind of allow Razor to really get in there. With Doom in front of him, Razor can kind of have a buffer where he's able to still do a lot of damage and not be the focus. And with Shadow Shaman, obviously the Mass Serpent Wards and the Roman combo with Mirana is a real pain to deal with. So both those taken out, but Virtus Pro ban out the Viper as well as the Pugna.
All right, so with that said, looking at head-to-head matchups, Na'Vi beat M5, and M5 beat VP. So if VP lose this match, they'd be 2-3, M5 would be 2-3, and I think M5 would advance over VP. If Na'Vi lose this match, they'll have the tiebreaker over M5. So I think Na'Vi advances no matter what, and VP needs to win to advance. Okay. M5 will be actively rooting for VP, assuming that they are using head-to-head, which I believe the admin did say earlier. So yeah. Anyway, as you mentioned, the DP Void very strong together. VP, not nearly as much team fight presence here, but much more focused on their early aggression. And we've seen Jotams Mirana make big plays in the past, so we'll see if he can have that PGGS presence in the laning stage for them. But they're going to need a lot out of him, as otherwise I do like this Na'Vi draft a bit better so far.
Yeah, we're going to see the Shadow Demon picked up over the Bane that we saw from Moscow 5 yesterday. So the Shadow Demon, what he brings is a lot more defensive in nature. Like the defensive disruption during Chronosphere can be absolutely immense for forcing the Faceless Void to switch targets, but it provides the same potential as far as setup for that Mirana. Towards the mid-game, it'll allow Razor to stay on his target just a little better. Static Link plus the Demonic Purge is extremely powerful for just getting that full drain off and obviously amplifying the damage with the Soul Catcher. So yeah, a lot of potential with this hero composition, really liking it, but we still have yet to see where the core initiation is going to be coming from. Some of it will be the Mirana arrows, but they still need one of those strength heroes that can just kind of brawl on the front line, maybe a Centaur or even a Panda if they want to bring the Razor to the safe.
Yeah, Skywrath Mage now picked up for Na'Vi, so well, if they wanted to go into Panda, this may discourage them from doing so. That lots of ways to deal with them now. Chronosphere, Death Prophet Silence, and most importantly, the Skywrath Silence. So I think Panda looks a little bit less attractive here. But Na'Vi, this is just such an annoying draft to play against. This Void Skywrath Mage combo. Like, if you let them get level 6, every time Chrono's up, it's pretty much a free kill. And potentially more than one if you have a Void with some farm. So VP will go for a Tidehunter. They'll get a team fighter that's less vulnerable to the Skywrath Mage Silence. I guess that's the main reasoning here. And also someone who can farm Ancients, so looking at an offlane most likely.
Yeah, if it's the Radiant side, I think I would prefer the Centaur a little bit, but Dire side, the Tidehunter is no joke. Really powerful and has some real initiation potential. So we'll see. what they can make out of that hero. Sodoi, obviously, pretty formidable with him. But the Skywrath is one of FNG's go-to picks. In the second phase here, he gets to pick it up, and although it's not going to be Dendi on it, Vanscore is an amazing Skywrath player as well. So I expect some major openings created from him, and we'll see what he's paired up with as far as a follow-through support. Something with a hard stun would be preferable, but really anything that can kind of go in front a little bit here. Sven, Alchemist are pretty common, but we'll have to see. I think the Sand King would be pretty good too, but obviously you have to be very aware of where you're positioning yourself to try to get the epicenter into the chronosphere.
Yeah, and it is a little... It puts a lot of pressure on the Skywrath Mage to control the laning stage at that point. Your Sand King's not going to offer as much as like a Mirana Shadow Demon duo will, so... It obviously sets them up for an amazing mid-game if they can get through these lanes. But the other hero that they love to run is like the Vengeful Spirit support.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
Oh, look at Earthshaker. So it kind of accomplishes the same idea of the Sand King. It's just giving them a team fight controller, but someone who can do things early and doesn't need to be jungling off the bat. So I think it's a bit safer given how aggressive VP's draft looks.
Oh, definitely, definitely. There's going to be a lot of times where Virtus Pro is trying to find a gank opportunity, perhaps on the mid lane, and if Earthshaker's in the right place at the right time, can absolutely disrupt that and turn it around for a kill by blocking somebody off. So I do like that pickup. I think there's a lot of potential for FNG on that hero, and yeah, we'll see how much momentum he gets in the early stage. I think Skywrath is going to play the number 5 here, and Earthshaker will be able to prioritize that Blink Dagger, which could make some pretty big plays happen.
One more ban to go for each team. VP probably looking for a carry with this last pick. They've got the Razor, who I imagine will be going mid. Could be their side lane solo, and maybe they get something else for the mid lane. But someone who will be taking farm priority. Doubt we'll see the support Mirana, though. We have seen it occasionally. It doesn't seem like a particularly VP thing to go for. The G Tinker was banned in the first phase, as there is a Dendi on the enemy team. So, yeah, I'm wondering a little bit what G will be playing if it's not the Razor. Because I feel like... I just hate when G's relegated to like a tempo controller. To me, he offers you so much more when he's on more of a snowball type hero.
Yeah, something with more utility to it. I think there's a lot of potential there. So I would assume it's going to be BZZ on the Razor because that's a hero they can kind of leave on the safe lane while Mirana and Shadow Demon wreak havoc across the map. But yeah, you have to be worried about this Faceless Void, this Earthshaker, and how disruptive they can be. So you can't just pick like a Queen of Pain into that and just get silenced and stunned all to hell. You have to be very careful about what you pick and where he's going to be about the map. Snowball's great, but there are limitations, and it leaves you very vulnerable when you become the focus point of this draft. So we're going to see the Bristleback band out, which is a pretty interesting one. Not sure if they would have went for that, but there it is. And yeah, we have about 60 seconds to see what Virtus Pro want to go with here. And I mean, there's so many heroes that G can play, but as far as what they would want to go in such a critical match like this that'll put them into the playoffs, it's a tough call.
Well, thinking on like old school G heroes, Templar Assassin used to be one of his big go-tos. Storm used to be hugely popular. Don't see Storm being very good this game. Like all 4 of these heroes can wreck Storm, so Earthshaker a little bit less so, but the other 3 cause him a lot of problems. What else does G play? Shadow Fiend we used to see a lot of. Also think he'll struggle a bit against the Void. Night Stalker, I've seen him play on occasion, but rarely is it effective, and that hero has just not been popular for a long time. TA doesn't match up that well against Void, but they'll go for it. Okay, I got GTA. It does have a decent laning stage against the Death Prophet, though, and it gives them a Roche. That gives them something they can Roche, and it seems like Na'Vi kind of wanted to ban that kind of hero out, removing the Bristleback, because that was obviously going to help them bring Roche down quicker with Go.
Yeah, I think the Templar Assassin ban would have been so much smarter than the Bristleback as far as what VP we're looking for this last pick. But yeah, in the end, they do get this. The only thing to dispel through the refraction is going to be that Ancient Seal. Otherwise, they're going to just have to hard knock through it. Or maybe pick up a hero that can just do a little bit more when it comes to, I guess, the offlane here. Funnick doesn't play the Void nearly as much as Havos from what I've seen. So we're actually going to see Quap. And it's going to be a Dendi, Quap, and a Havos Death Prophet with Funnick on the offlane. Interesting.
So this mid lane is going to be pretty hotly contested. I'm expecting to see Dendi have a Sentry Ward off the bat, so there's no meld dodging shenanigans of the Shadow Strike, and I expect to see Skywrath Mage, Earthshaker, Mirana, and Shadow Demon, 6 heroes basically laning mid / constantly ganking and defending mid. And this is going to be an annoying matchup for the TA if they put the TA mid. Which you pretty much always do, but if there's going to be a Skywrath and Earthshaker constantly rotating towards the lane, it's not going to be a fun time for him. So, very aggressive final pick. And hey, the thing is they've got this Void Death Prophet to fall back on. So it's not like the other Queen of Pain we saw from Na'Vi earlier in this tournament where like they had to win the lanes to have a chance. And they did, and they won like 12-1. But that draft they had to win the lanes. This game, they don't have to win the lanes. They just have to do okay.
Yeah. And also gives some nice Roche team fight if you consider like jumping in with the Chronosphere, Dendy being able to follow it up with his AoE spell damage. As long as they don't just get picked by an arrow before that fight starts, then I actually think that they can contest this pretty heavily. And all they need is a Sentry Ward in the mid lane to actually set up Dendy's for success on the lane. You put down the Sentry, you prevent the meld dodge with the Shadow Strike, and that nullifies most of the impact of Refraction. I don't think they're going to dodge the lane based on that alone, but G's going to have to play more reserved and won't be able to farm and snowball nearly as hard.
I'm also looking forward to the Havos Death Prophet. Have you seen him play it before? I don't know if I have.
Once or twice, but it didn't really stand out compared to any other safe lane Death Prophet. We see it a lot in the Eastern scene in particular. They've been playing it more, but Havost in particular, he's going to go for an early Basilius here, and I mean, it's going to be. I would love to say it's going to be standard play, but this is Havos we're talking about. Maybe we're going to be seeing like the frontline Death Prophet that's just YOLOing on people with Exorcism. I really don't know.
I have been impressed by Funnick's Void though, and I feel like to me Funnick is kind of in that universe position. Definitely doesn't have quite the numbers the universe does on Void, but I have confidence in him as a spectator. Like if they need a big chrono, I expect more often than not he would deliver. So. This may be one of those games where it really comes down to Funnick, especially if Havos goes full Havos mode. But we'll see. He is overall a fantastic player, and I think he said he feels revitalized with the new Na'Vi. Had a recent interview where he's like, you know what, I actually enjoy playing Dota now. It's crazy. I haven't had this feeling in a long time. Funny thing for a guy who's been to 3 TI finals to be saying, but you know. Hey, sometimes you just need a shot in the arm, and they've certainly gotten that with FNG and Vankscore. So, with that said, we'll run through the lineups here while we have a quick settings pause, as FNG needs a few minutes to fix things up. We'll have G on the Templar Assassin, early bottle rush for him. Sadoy will be your offlane Tidehunter. It's going to be the support Mirana again for Jadam, with Observer Wards already picked up. Yol with the boots for Shadow Demon. BZZ with the boots first Razor. And then we'll introduce Na'Vi. We've got FNG on the Earthshaker. He's bought sentries already, so expect one to be given to the Queen of Pain or just placed mid to block the meld dodges, like you mentioned. Vankscore on the Scarlet Mage, Dendy on the Queen of Pain, Havos Death Prophet, and that will leave Funnick as the offlane Void.
Yeah, I think the real unknown factor is how effective this Shadow Demon Mirana is going to be, because they have the boots first on Yol, and they are going to have a tendency to roam mid. They want to try to pursue onto a Dendy and just bring down the Queen of Pain, give TA the landing phase that she desires, but at the same time, the Earthshaker pick is a counter to that play. You bring in FNG, every time they go for the Fisher Arrow, even if it connects at like 2 or 3 second duration, you can just Fisher, you can block it off, and eliminate a lot of the damage forthcoming. So I'm curious how TA is going to skill, if she's going to have enough points in the side blades to reach over a Fisher if it does indeed come, and obviously how often Yul's going to get in range to try to set up those opportunities.
Yeah, it's one of those games where TA getting an early blink and dodging Chrono could be the kind of thing that changes this game for VP. Yeah, a hero that normally struggles against Void, not the best attack range, and if she gets Chronoed, can't dodge that with the meld, and usually can be focused down. Plus, Mystic Flare, plenty of damage instances, so Refraction will be pretty useless against that. And that's where G's going to have quick fingers on the keyboard to juke the Chrono. But we're looking forward towards the mid game, and still there's the lanes to look at. And VP, with the Tidehunter in the offlane, I think most likely we'll see Sadoy left to his own devices, just stacking the Ancients. Na'Vi may try to block those, and the Shadow Demon Rana likely will be roaming a lot and trying to set up some ganks on the mid lane. If they go full aggressive tri-lane, they're doing that against an Earthshaker Skywrath. Very strong laning duo, so not the easiest lane to set up kills in. And I'm a lot of this game to me just pins on the roams. If Jadam and Yol deliver, I could see VP breaking it wide open. If they get shut down early, I worry for VP a bit in the mid game.
Definitely. I think the status quo favors Na'Vi right now. If the Funny can just survive on his lane, Dendi can auto-win his with the matchup, and that'll work out for them. Right now, they've got a pair of Sentry Wards. Like we said, we assume one's going to go to mid, but I think the other one should go to the Ancients to block off that tide. In the end, though, this pause has given them plenty of time to contemplate how they want to move in the early game, and it is going to be a 5-man smoke down the bottom lane, trying to breach into the Radiant jungle, and that will get them some nice wards down, but won't be finding a level 1 clash.
Yeah, TA already scaling up for fraction, so probably not even bothering with the meld dodge shenanigans. At this level of play, you normally will see a sentry pulled. Then they'll get some wards down in the enemy jungle. Just an observer ward for now to spot those rotations and block the camp. As for Na'Vi, they were defending the Ancients, like you mentioned. Well, it's in the name after all, so it's only fitting.
So one aspect of the early game that's going to be pretty interesting is FNG's item progression. He went for a third clarity over a second branch, and what that means is that there's going to be some downtime between his two Fissures. He has 220 mana. As he gains intelligence, that won't be as big of an issue, but at level 1, if there is going to be a back and forth, he's going to have at least a 15-second interval where he doesn't have the Fissure unless he pops the clarity in combat.
Na'Vi, please. You're going to kill my viewers.
Gotta draw.
Looking for this rune top lane. Actually, the Fissure just trying to block him off, but there was no rune there. It's a haste that spawns bottom. Rather unfortunate. First clarity down the drain, but he's not going to pop it just yet.
Yeah, maybe not going to need it. We'll see. But they know that the ward was placed out, I believe, and he's going to go and try to sentry that most likely. Leaving the Ancients open, but you have to look down bottom and look at the aggression from Yol and Jadam. They are hiding out in the tree line here, looking for that opportunity where they can get the first blood, preferably on Havos, but of course Vanskar might be the easier target.
Yeah, Denny already dropped a sentry. G has not even skilled meld yet, so he's dropped it a little prematurely. Waste 30 seconds to a minute on this in terms of when meld might be skilled at least. But yeah, it's a preemptive measure and it will put pressure on him. Havos does walk right to the arrow, though. There's a disruption follow-up for this. I don't know if they want to fight into Vanskor. They'll certainly try. Disruption's ready. Yeah, this is going to be your first blood. Havos salving. He still ends up going down. Oh, it's not a good start for him. Yol barely makes his way out. He doesn't have a salve, though. He can only tango forward. It was just a Mirana tie do it, and they look for the secondary kill in Vanskor. Bringing him low, but can't quite finish the deal. That was a very nice snipe, and this is partially due to Na'Vi just not going into their own woods. They didn't really know where VP went to, and had no lane ward down, had no way to spot that out. So you really can't pin it too much on Avost. It's more just the fact that Na'Vi didn't do much to protect their safe lane and their jungle early on.
Yeah, mostly FNG, like, moving about. They didn't know, they knew about the Shadow Demon, they didn't know about the Mirana, but the fact that FNG had no way to actually help out on the bottom lane, was trying to defuse the situation on mid, it caused them some real problems. Now the rotation comes where he'll be very useful, up against this hasted Yol coming in, going for the disruption. They should get this arrow.
FNG's here, arrow's gonna come through, it will connect Odendi, but the Fissure's there to try and slow this down. Can he blink out in time? No chance. Jadam delivers again, and VP fighting for their playoff lives here at Gameshow, off to a fantastic and needed start in in our final game of the day. Game number 15 of group stage play.
This is exactly how you want to play this lineup with the Shadow Demon Mirana. You knew with the boots they really were going to be bloodthirsty, but this is insane. Getting a pick off on the two core heroes, just absolutely what they wanted here. And Skywrath is going a very defensive build as well. Havos going for the TP, he will get it.
Barely. VP were hunting. He TP'd to the tower too, so good heads up play by Havos. Didn't panic, and he's not. Although I don't know if it would matter because this camp's blocked off. They can't pull the wave back. And he really can't be walking up into experience range here without some additional help. And finally, the Earthshaker will lumber bottom. But this one's spotted. And they'll lead with a concussive shot. The most whiffing his first nuke. I don't know if it would matter. Our Skywrath has actually not even leveled up Arcane Bolt at level 2. So very little killing potential from this lane.
But I think the Fissure would set up a second Crypt Swarm. I know it's only level 1, but it would have brought him close. Just missing that, just no opportunity whatsoever. And they really do need a kill to kind of rebound. The one thing they have going for them is Dendi's CS on the mid lane. Even with that death, he's just dominating the matchup. 16 and 13 over 6 and 2. G can only pretty much helplessly stand by as he watches the creeps fall.
Yeah, it's a 300 gold lead. Imagine how bad it would be if he didn't have that death to his name. And they want to add another death to the toll. Yol's in the front. He's got the boots up. As they look for the bottom jump on Sadoy, it's just difficult to get in close on this tide, but mid lane, if Denny gets disrupted, he's going to give up another kill. He's a little bit in a precarious position here. Yol's about to be revealed. Disruption in forthcoming. He blinks, but it's not to the best position. It's onto the low ground now that Disruption comes through. But they don't have the angle for the arrow. The Soul Catcher, it's a creep. Oh, they get the arrow anyway. They draw the creep to the left, and the arrow comes a little bit farther to the right. And in the end, it's good enough. Even forcing Vankscore off the bottom lane. The Earthshaker was busy checking the 4-minute rune. And this gives the Tide all kinds of space. The one lane we haven't talked about, it's not going any better for Na'Vi. It's a safe lane Razor against an off lane Void. It's a what do you expect is going to happen kind of lane. And, well, as you might expect, it's going BZZ's way 100%. They look for the trade mid now, though. Might get this G kill. Finally have a point in Arcane Bolt. Fissure's there, but the arrow tanked from long range. Disruption will actually help buy this guy with Major bit of time, but also traps him in up against the Fissure for a little bit additional damage. There's a leap forward from Jadam, another arrow, and another kill. Jadam is just the gift that keeps on giving for Team VP. Make it 4-0 as the Russians officially invade our stream chat.
Well, there you go. But, yeah, I mean, the movement here is just absolutely perfect. Normally speaking, you would see that the timing of a gank around 45 to the 60-second mark in any minute is going to be contested by the fact that there's a push coming in from the mid laner. Usually they want to control the runes more effectively, but the timing here is just off because Dendi has gone for this Shadow Strike-oriented build and can't actually go for the AoE Scream of Pain. So the wave doesn't get pushed up, they find their smoke rotation around, and they get kill after kill on him, now obviously keeping the Templar Assassin alive, and she's got a haste rune. Like, what does she have to fear with this haste bottle? For the next 2 minutes straight, she is just unkillable.
The TA is actually not the one who's to fear, it's the Quap. Quap can easily die to a TA at this stage. Not only does she not clear the wave quickly, but bottom lane. Perfect fissure. Now the follow-up comes from the concussive shot, and Sidoi tries to turn with an Anchor Smash. They'll need like 3 more auto attacks, just enough damage from Avost. Meanwhile, another smoke. A Jadam and Yol are at it again. They get their first kill, Na'Vi finally get on the board, but VP just want to keep the pressure up. And with this haste rune and traps online, this is like the worst possible time for Dendi to do this. They are wrapping around for the south. The Sentry Ward will allow them to deward these traps. Gives them a little bit more breathing room, but Yol and Jadam are just waiting to move up this hill. And they might find the perfect timing. If they wait like a few seconds longer, then go straight. Vankscore. Oh, he's on the high ground to reveal this. And they had this ward that spotted his rotation out earlier. Concussive shot thrown out. Yol didn't quite see which way he was going to be coming from. And now the reinforcements arrive. Havos wants to fight, but he's on the high ground with no blink, so can't really get in there.
Yeah. Despite all these kills going back and forth and mostly in favor of Virtus Pro here, it is impressive how well they're doing on CS. The fact that Havos has managed to essentially keep pace with BZZ on the top lane, it maybe shows just that he's not doing things perfect up there, but of course it also shows how great Havos is when it comes to farming. Of course, breaking the static link with the time walk here, not even going to get a single point of damage drained away, and he is trying to contest this lane rather heavily as well, though finding difficulty with 19 denies.
And they want to make yet another go bottom lane. There's a Sentry Ward here, but no Observer to spot these heroes out exactly, and Havost is being pressured very hard under this tower. But he doesn't have any... There's no one really to back this up, and he's actually going to go for the TP out in the trees. Ravage is online, though. Oh, no, this is not looking good for Havost. He's in hems and haws, and eventually he's been caught out. Ravage is ready. They don't want to have to blow this, though. They're going to try and reserve it. Oh, no, they got to do it. Just clips him at the absolute precipice of the Ravage boundary. Meanwhile, top lane, they lost the Void as well. So it's a double whammy for VP, and they look for a third, fishing for that arrow from Jadam. And Vankscore is exposed now, no creeps to protect him.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that Earthshaker, despite his high base movement speed at 310, is not able to be at the right place at the right time pretty much ever. The fact that the Fishers have not really turned anything around this game just constitutes how active VP are in roaming, and unfortunately how unpredictable they've been against FNG. He hasn't been able to defuse the situation well enough. They have this massive combo now with this rank 2 Soul Catcher, and even Dendi's life here underneath his tower is not safe.
Yeah, they make their move again towards mid. Let's see if they get another opening. Shadow Strike Harassment, just not good enough anymore. This is the stage of the game where TA, even having been harassed constantly all game, is still able to turn and win in terms of last hits. If this goes on another couple minutes with the medallion up on Jadam, they're going to take Roche, and VP should look to snowball. They don't want to sit back too much longer. Not to say they've been sitting back, but they want to start forcing bigger engagements, and well, if Ravage on cooldown, they may wait for that to come off, but I expect them just to go into the pit soon. And I don't see... I think Na'Vi can stop it, but I don't see them having an easy time doing so after the way the lanes have developed.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, obviously they have the Chronosphere. Funny actually bring that.
There's an arrow. It just misses Havos, but there's still a haste run up on G. Is he going to jump in here? Nah, he decides with no arrow hitting, it's not worth the risk. They say, just go farm, G. We got this.
So they'll play defensively down here. They've got the Arcane Boots up on the Tide, so they can just kind of keep firing random arrows. When they hit, they can actually follow that up, but until then, there's no real risk to their reward. Either way, Funnick did look to rotate maybe on mid lane. If they could collaborate to get Chronosphere on TA, that would have been a huge kill, picking off a TA when she has the haste. But instead, he's going to make his way right back up top. The damage drain ensues in full, and yeah, this mechanism plus phase boost timing is pretty absurd for the Razor. What you'd expect, but even still, getting it before the 10-minute mark allows them to team fight all together.
Yeah, they're just going to be so strong. When Ravage is up and they have mech, Na'Vi needs picture-perfect chain stun. That's the arrow. Will hit a creep. Looking for Havos in the bottom lane, but they might just go in on him anyway. There's a Ravage up in 5 seconds. They're going to die for this one. Perhaps. No. Trap is there on Vinescore. Does this hasted GTA go in? No, he's going to rotate instead towards F and G. I'm not sure he realizes that he's smoked up. Don't think they saw this one. Funnick about to reveal G. Does he go for a quick chrono? Not with the refraction ready. Doesn't want to waste it. No Vinescore ultimate. No Mystic Flare to chew through that, and this buys time for the Razor. Gets his mechanism. Immediately joins the squad bottom. Ravage ready. Mech online. A little bit low on mana on Sadoy, though, so he'll have to reserve that mana for a Ravage and maybe a single Anchor Smash if he wants to get anything off. G just fighting Funnick. He's trapped him in the trees a little bit. Is there a quick Ravage? Ravage will fly. Connects on 3. Funnick's still alive, though. He turns. He chronos. Jotun walks into it. What a beautiful initiation. Then the Dendi ultimate over the top, but the defensive disruption kept Sadoy alive. What a great turn of events for VP. It looks so good for Na'Vi, but they just didn't quite have the follow-up. As Dendi leaps forward, he will get the Shadow Demon, but may pay with his life. BZZ on the hunt. Runs directly into an Anchor Smash. Will end up falling. Jotun cleaned up, and now Havos pursued out. They're going to lose 3 here. They got 2, but they only got the supports. They'll lose the tier 1 bottom as well. That's the big loss, and that disruption, man, that was a big play.
Absolutely insane. Sadoy lives through. They get the mech plus disruption. They refraction down the tower. BZZ opens up with a triple kill here, and Roche is there for the taking now. Getting this level advantage, if you just look at the hero levels, a level 10 Razor and a level 9 TA, and the fact that they don't have Chronosphere for 70 seconds. She just went for a Blink Dagger. Like, why not go for the aggression? Like you said, it's great for dodging Chronosphere too, but this allows her to close distance very quickly, keep pace with Dendi, and pretty much just obliterate whoever she wants in a very quick fashion. So from here, they look to Roche. They look to get Aegis on her so that G can go for the man-up plays.
And they're going to go right into the pit. Well, maybe wait for Ravage and then go. But as soon as Ravage is up, I don't really see any reason to hold off. Perhaps a Smoke Gank to set up an easier Roshan attempt, but if Na'Vi make this rotation top, then they're essentially forfeiting that Rosh.
I think they can just go now. The Chrono and Sonic Wave are both down, so if they wait for Ravage, that's just going to be more time for Na'Vi to come back and get their cooldowns available to try to contest. Here, it's no contest at all. G using the Meld and Refraction, them using the Medallion of Courage. It's the standard Radiant Tier 1 top trade for the Dire Roshan.
Generally an awful trade, but like you said, is pretty standard. Especially after losing that fight bottom and having the gold disadvantage they do. It's just difficult to fight anymore. They'll have to just stall this game out. Havost still doesn't have his ult. He hits level 8, but he's opted just to go for the Witchcraft Cryptsword Max, so Navi's still not really in a great position to fight. No Mystic Flare either. Like, their lineup has this incredible synergy on paper, but without the proper levels, they're limited in their ability to execute that.
And Earthshaker's level 3. What do you do as an out-of-mana Earthshaker level 3? You just walk around wishing to punch people, being very squishy and not accomplishing much. I mean, he's only got 3 armor. One Meld Strike, and he's going to be losing over half his HP. So they have to be extremely careful. Even if the Ravage isn't committed, it's very, very dangerous. So Fortify will be popped in the mid lane, though. Havos looking to deny, but 633 zoning him out.
Ravage is up now. He's actually going in. Nice deny with the double damage Creed of Pain, but this might be at a cost. Oh, it will be. Just a gush into a TA Meld Strike, instantly dealt with, and now they chase forward for Havos. He gets purged up, and he'll be run down here by the Razor. G's in tow as well. The Chrono is there! The turn might come from Funnick. No, not with the high ground Ravage by Sadoy. A great reaction to this one. G blinks forward. He finds one. He wants Havos. He might clean them all up, or they might all escape. It's going to be close. Traps there. Slowing Havos down. He's going to juke around the tree line. This will force G back, but he might be able to blink in. He melds. He's waiting for the jump, but I think it's just a jump out here. Yeah, he'll retreat out. But what a life-saving chrono from Funnick. Even though they got the Ravage on 3, it kept VP from diving in deeper and getting multiple kills.
Yep, so Na'Vi aren't really finding the turnaround yet, but they are kind of stopping the bleeding here. Getting the deny on that tower is, on paper, worth the death of Dendi, although obviously they had no stake in the following fight. The Ravage was used without much cost, so in the end, they're okay with just nullifying Virtus Pro's momentum, just kind of stopping them in their tracks and drawing even for the moment. But they will have to make something positive happen beyond just that Tier 1 top. They need to find an open fight with some good ultis. First and foremost, it's going to be an illusion bottled by Dendi, but has to watch out for just some fishing arrows. The vision's pretty good for Virtus Pro right now. If you look at their observer wards, they have 2 in the enemy jungle territory, and they are really able to see rotations. But Navi's not being settled about this one. They're all 5, all mid.
They gotta get the Scarth Mage ult up. At least they have Exorcism now, but it's still just a level on Exorcism at 14 minutes, which is a bit... And he's not really even close to the level 2 ult. Again, given the pressure Havost was under, can't really blame him, but it's not a good situation for Na'Vi. They need that damage from a level 2 Exorcism and a Scarth Mage ult, and Fangscore's trying to find his level 6 as he heads bottom lane. VP will take this time to keep the pressure up. Wouldn't mind even seeing just an early gem pickup from them to maintain full map control. But for now, they'll just calmly walk up some hills as Funnick desperately tries to complete his Midas. Looks to be a Midas anyway, but it's a very late one.
Yeah, I like the idea of the chokehold gem, but it does come with risk. If they lose that, they give the entire game back to Na'Vi. So that kill becomes like the highest value thing Na'Vi could claim. So it's risky just to have it on the map, but might be worth it even though they are the team with the Moonlight Shadow. Aegis will be reclaimed in 3 minutes, so G definitely wants to make use of that, but for about 60 seconds here, it's just going to be a farm fest, being more efficient across the map, and soon they'll collaborate for, I guess, the bottom tier 2.
G now up to 1,400 gold. VP still sitting on the Aegis and Ravage. Will cool down in 5 seconds, so it's a good second breath of fresh air to go, as the arrow just narrowly misses Funnick. Almost got him bottom lane, and if that arrow hits, that's definitely his death and another tower. Unless the backtrack RNG is out of this world. With a level 1 backtrack, you're not counting on that. But yeah, VP have taken this jungle over, and Na'Vi just have to play keep away. It's like these 2 camps they can really look to farm up here. Outside of that, there's really nowhere safe.
Yeah, looks like Funnick is actually going to be going for a Hand of Midas here, and while I generally speaking disagree with a Hand of Midas pickup when you're really far behind and you need to come back sooner rather than later, I still think like it's his only option. Like he has no gold to speak of. 2,000. I mean, his net worth right now is 3,100 after his first transmute. So really, there's no alternative item that would put him back on the map. Mask of Madness is great, but these heroes are just getting pretty tanky, and we've already seen Yul use his positioning and his defensive disruption to really nullify the damage during the Chronosphere. So I actually agree with this one, despite my general.
Dendi. Oh, you're in way too deep. Blink meld. 1 right click. Dead. Way too far out. Wasn't ready for that rotation to come. And now they're going to mid. Blink Ravage is there. The Chrono is okay catching the Shadow Demon, but it won't deal with the Tidehunter. And then the follow-up comes from BZZ. Everybody from Na'Vi tries to run out, but they've already lost the Void. Well, Midas, at least giving him a bit of income, but now he pays with his life. 3 fall. And on the retreat out, they'll lose a 4th as the hasted drive-by from G delivers. That's 4 heroes dead. The lone survivor, the Earthshaker. A level 5 Earthshaker ain't doing much right now.
Unfortunately not. No mobility on him, no Echo Slam. This is just desperation time for Na'Vi. They want to stay in this one, but the Queen of Pain was a snowball hero, and you were talking about Funnick and Havost picking heroes that they could fall back on, but we really don't see that taking effect just yet. The Yules isn't finished, and obviously Funnick's contribution has been a little has been quite significantly minimized, actually. Like, he actually got ravaged and arrowed in that last fight. FNG gets taken down quite easily up top again. Slow as can be, and now this Tier 1 will be falling quickly, but Na'Vi look to trade a little bit, but they don't have really anything but a couple of right clicks to send to this half HP tower.
They're not getting this tower. There's a glyph up. This will be a free, clean trade for VP, and in fact, they're already TPing in more. They'll purge Dendi. They'll blink out a bit as they're chase forward. Sadoi does have a blink gush, but they'll need some more burst damage to bring him down. And I just can't help but feel that the lanes just never worked for Na'Vi. You know Funnick's going to lose top against the Razor. That's just a given. Yeah. Mid lane can be won by Queen of Pain, and Dendi, by all accounts, was winning his lane, but it's just one of those matchups where Queen of Pain might out CS the TA, but if she's not getting kills, it's just really not good enough without like having just the better mid game offense, and they didn't because Funny having a bad start. It just comes back to the Jada Marana more than anything.
Yeah.
His Potom has just been amazing.
Yeah, I think the lanes would have been okay if they had been better, more predictive of how Yul and Jotun were going to move, but they just absolutely steamrolled. I mean, this Marana is 2 kills, 6 assists. The Shadow Demons 4 kills, 7 assists. Like, just the amount of opportunities they found in this laning phase was, by and large, far ahead of any combo you normally see. So yeah, I think they could have won the lanes, honestly. Obviously not top lane, but the other two, if it wasn't just for this damn amazing Marana we've seen time and time again from Jotun.
And now they will look to apply the stranglehold.
Oh, they will.
Everybody disconnects, and I cannot pause, so... isn't it supposed to auto-pause if everyone disconnects, or no?
No, I don't know why they haven't actually shifted that, but as far as I know, it has to be a player to pause it. And obviously, we don't have any players to speak of.
No, I can't pause. Well, I guess we're gonna have a reload or something. It's one of those games where spectators used to be able to pause. Actually,
I think admins might be able to if they have like the ticket. I'm not too sure, but we'll have a quick pause coming in from the first reconnects.
I don't think it's the biggest deal.
Yeah, no, that was compared to the last disconnect we saw.
Yeah, the last time they had Exorcism going in the enemy base, top lane was exposed. They rotated mid, took lane of Rax, and could have gone back top, gotten that lane, and then they just started running back to base. They still won, but yeah, this is not quite the same situation. Let's see what the players want to do.
Yeah, I actually think this is okay to just resume. The status quo hasn't shifted at all. People are back to their base, and they have maybe like 40 gold more because of the gold over time, but really not much has shifted here, and it's definitely not as consequential as the last one we saw. So we'll see, just kind of examining the graphs right now as far as how things have been progressing. Like I said, stopping the bleeding a little bit. The gold gain isn't as massive for Virtus.pro, but they still have a huge lead here, almost 12,000 gold. The experience is in the same vein, and yeah, the next Roche will be respawning at a relatively good time. Like they'll be looking for it. We don't know the timer just yet, but it'll be within the next 3 or 4 minutes. And from there, I think they could actually look to not only take a tier 2, but actually look to contest high ground. I mean, it's hard to do against this kind of Na'Vi lineup where they do have a lot of just choke point turtle damage. And finally, the Skywrath has gotten his ultimate, but I still think that Virtus.pro have such a lead that one good arrow from outside the base to in, and they might be able to actually force the issue.
I think they've just reached critical mass. Razor's about to get eggs. Your TA's sitting on 3,000 gold. BKB's coming very soon for G. In fact, can buy it now if he wants to. A little surprised he didn't even go for a more aggressive item like a Desolator. But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess worried about just like the Scarth Mage Silence or getting Mystic Flared potentially. So, not a bad idea, so it does instantly remove Refraction. Yeah, I think they're... It doesn't even have to be like an amazing arrow, just... A good Ravage would be enough, and they might even just be able to walk up with Razor's ult, and they just take that tower. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think VP are real close to being able to just brute force it, if they're not there already.
So they're TVing down bottom. They're looking for a play here. No smoke, no deception at work. Just casually farming the Razor down on bottom lane and having plenty at his back. Nighttime is fight time for Virtus.pro here. They've got the Geometry sites, so they're going to crush any Observer Wards, which we see are actually not in place whatsoever. So complete surprise coming Dendy's way very soon. And yeah, he's just going to waste his blink on breaking the link. Fortunately, coming back up in just a few seconds.
These are some sweet rhymes you're busting out, please. Dangerously cheesy, man. You might give our viewers a heart attack. Oh, the siege will begin in earnest bottom lane. BZZ's on the front lines. We'll start whacking the creeps with Plasma Field, and they're waiting for G on the side. He's got a blink available. Can just blink in, deliver a quick meld, and possibly force Denny off this tower, but wants to be careful not to get chronoed under tower. And for now, won't go in. The Quap will blink out. Appropriately timed retreat as the rest of VP have arrived. And they've got Sidoi waiting. Thank you, Ace. We've got a notification here from our Russian caster that Razor does... Why is it an enemy Razor? How can you have an enemy as a caster?
We're the spectators, and players...
All the players are enemies. I
Well,
guess
the way they show up to lobbies on time and time again, I almost would see that as a standoff there.
Valve is setting player-caster relations back at least like 50 years with this man. Come on now. Trapomeister. Oh, he's so dead.
Oh,
he's so royally dead. Just to rub it in, Jottam hits the arrow, but he was dead anyway. There's no going. There's no getting out of that one. Meanwhile, top
they might.
Audio, fissured apple. Dandy blows the big payload for that one. They're desperate for a kill, but Queen of Pain ult has a very long cooldown if you don't go eggs. 2 minutes. And Roche is going to respawn at 1, so that's a forfeited Roche, basically. Arrow again! Not again! Oh, Havos can't catch a break. He really just can't. They came in with Moonlight Shadow, so this ward didn't help them out. Just snuck right in, but at the same time, you really have to expect that VP are coming to defend top. When
but
everyone
I think
disappears.
Push the tower into deny range. I almost think that securing it is okay because, like, I mean, he's got his Yules already. He's got his drums. He's got the items he's going to fight with now, and he is level 11. So him being down for 30, 40 seconds doesn't change the fact that the entire team just got a ton of gold and that he just gets the opportunity to come back swing. If Roche was up right now, I would think that would be a critical loss, but it is just about to spawn right when Death Prophet comes back up, and they might still have a window where they can do something across the map. A deny will come in the mid lane in conjunction with that last hit top, and Na'Vi just got a nice little gold gain, if not all as efficient as it could be.
The top tower was not denied, actually. It was killed by the Radiant, so...
Yep.
They got a good influx of gold from that. Even the tower denied, still another 500 in their pockets or so. And into the pit they go. This will be a very simple, straightforward rush. Na'Vi just no chance of contesting. I don't think they can contest this even with Quap Bolt, to be honest, but certainly not without it. Like, they would need an unworldly chrono, and that's going to be tough to land when VP can just leave, like, TA +1 in the pit, and the rest of the team can spread out around it. Yeah. They'll get the rush easily. Nothing for Na'Vi to trade for here, just a couple more waves of farm. The BKB is about to arrive for Dendi. He's just got the gold for it now, and TP scrolls coming in for Havos, but the death push is on its way. And they found their opening. Disruptions here on Funnick. He'll time walk out a bit. The Ravage is ready. Will the Chrono be used by Funnick? He doesn't want to blow the Ravage. They want to reserve that for a big fight pushing high ground. So they will let Funnick live to fight another day.
Yeah. So the end progression for Na'Vi right here, it looks like they're going to be going for 2 BKBs. One on Dendi, he just picked it up, and Havos looks to be making his way there as well. So if they pick those 2 items up, the 2 things they have to really worry about is the Razor's damage as well as the TAs. The Meld Strikes are still going to be legit, and G is going to be delivering some huge helpings of physical damage. But if they might be able to, like, burst down the Razor since he doesn't have the BKB or the Aegis right now, I actually could see them actually taking a fight. We'll see the opening, though.
That's an Echo just for a support Shadow Demon who turns, casually tanks through it, and then just says goodbye to FNG. He's donezo.
Yeah.
Earthshaker, no buyback for 400 gold, 20 seconds. He'll respawn quickly enough, I suppose, but no Echo Slam for the upcoming team fight. It's only a level 1 Echo, so not really that impactful yet. It just seems with this kind of disadvantage, Na'Vi will need every bit of help they can get.
Exactly.
And you mentioned no BKB on BZZ, but he is damn close to being able to afford it. 500 gold in the bank. If he gets BKB and Ags and mech, yeah. I don't know if Na'Vi can kill him at that point. Their damage is mostly Mystic Flare and nukes from Quap.
Top lane, Havos forces back some retreat, but there is mana for the disruption. He's just going to have to run this one out. Could have gone for the Yules on Yul, but instead gets caught by the disruption, by the combo, and yeah, it looks like it's another time to feed for him, unfortunately.
No, maybe not. He's giving them the runarounds. An arrow dodge. Havos is really being put through the ringer. Oh, geez, there to end him, end the suffering and the pain, and send him back to the well. Poor Havos. What a rough game for him.
Game is hard.
He has to do things like that, though. They need to keep the lanes out, because the second he stops split pushing, VP just deathball down mid. Like, there's no reason for them to wait beyond the Razor BKB, which is about to come out.
Yeah, that's, like you said, a huge turning point where they're like at the verge of just being in a really dominant position that could be turned, and that might be just the last nail in the coffin, having that BKB on the Razor. But we'll see right now. Dendi having some fun with G. Marana's in the back. Jottam looking for another sick arrow, but not coming for the moment.
Well, there's also a little backup here on the side of Na'Vi. As the arrow surges in, finds Night Score! He found him in the trees! Oh, Jottam. What the hell, man? You can't be doing that.
He's got these eyes. I don't even know.
Did they see him walk in there? I didn't see when he went there.
They had some inkling of his position in that. They're not going to Ravage to cancel Dendy's TP again. They want it for the big fight, but man, they must have just gotten like a glimmer of him in the fog of war right when the creep wave was pushing out. But to think and just be so precise about this is exactly where he is, easy pick, easy kill. It's just shot him, Mirana. It's almost first phase ban because you know it's going to be first phase pick.
Almost got a Vost in the river. Close to seeing arrows everywhere he runs. But just managed to skate out of range. They didn't have a lane ward there, though. Like, there was this one trap that maybe saw him move into the secret shop if he happened to come this direction, but yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe he just had an inkling that he might be there. That could have just been one of those, you know, sometimes you just get hot with Mirana and like you're just like, I'll just throw out a casual arrow and it hits. Could have been that as well. We'll have to watch the replay to tell for sure, but yeah, either way, he's seen plenty of heroes and lined them up perfectly. So even if that was lucky, the rest certainly were not.
So Phonic is actually going to have his Aghanim Scepter here. The Midas has brought him to this point without him actually taking too much farm off the map. Like, he's still gotten 100 CS, which is pretty huge, but he wouldn't have it without the income generator of the Midas. So again, going back to that, it was a really smart decision to go for that instead of just like some other cheap item like a Mask of Madness or even finishing the Treads. Now, Treads, Aghanim Scepter, gives them the short Chronosphere cooldown and the longer duration. But do you think it's enough? Against these BKBs, against the momentum that Virtus Pro have, there's some glimmer of hope, but is it even worth fighting for? I don't know.
The only way they win a fight is if they don't get their BKBs off. If Razor BKBs, they're not killing him in Chronosphere. Like, maybe if Havost is right next to him with the level 2 ult, and nobody's there, but you gotta remember there's the defensive disruption, there's the Blink Ravage, which if Tide sits back and jumps over Chrono, can turn the fight. I think Na'Vi, it's not good enough just to have the eggs. They need to catch heroes without BKBs, catch them with the Mystic Flare follow-up, possibly the Queen of Pain ult as well. It's one of those, like, if, then maybe they can win a fight kind of games.
Yeah.
And that's just not the position you want to be in when you're...
Oh, Van score. Space created.
Space created for some other teammates, I guess. This does drop a Feudal Mystic Flare, but... yeah, they're not getting any big things off of this. No towers, just a couple more waves to farm. They're getting closer to an Earthshaker Blink Dagger, but it's time for VP to look to put Na'Vi out of their misery, honestly. Like, I don't see much reason to wait.
30 seconds on the Aegis, it almost seems like they waited a little bit too long. The BKB was great to have, but not having the second life on G, he's going to have to go back to the well, get some mana back. Yeah, this timing interval is just not great. Dendy does get a couple strikes on him, but he has a haste rune, and he's actually just going to need the blink. G now stuck in trees.
Unfortunate.
Lost in the woods.
Yeah, I guess they'll wait one more Aegis. Unless they get a bunch of kills right now. And look at the aggression Yoel's putting out. Vost is just casually farming Aegis. Did he not see that Shadow Poison? They'll not blink up. Not able to track down Havost, fortunately for him. And he's still trying to finish this BKB.
Look at where Havost just was. They actually have a Radiant Observer ward there that's not being dewarded by the gem. So, interesting way to place it, but really nice coming from FNG.
This one. Yeah. I think they saw that. They saw his rotation back towards the base with this lane ward. Well, not lane ward, but whatever you call that, like near the hill ward. Yeah, one more rush to go for VP. They'll have Daedalus up on the Templar Assassin now, and along with that, Aegis will be coming soon. Who do you think you give this to? Razor or TX?
The Aegis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely give it to Razor. They Eye of the Storm with Aghanim Scepter staying up for as long as possible is pretty much the way they win this fight. If the Templar Assassin is a little more conservative in her positioning, she can still... I mean, she has BKB, 10 seconds, and the Refraction. She can just... one defensive disruption. She's fine.
Crouching Yoel. hidden Purge, but no follow-up. It's just like a psychological warfare that he's looking to wage. It just blinks in out of nowhere, purges the Earthshaker, puts the fear of God into FNG, and sends him trotting back to the well with his tail tucked between his legs. For me, it's... oh, Sadoi, blinking it again, just to steal the invis from Dendy. Everywhere that... I feel like VP are really just messing with Na'Vi at this point. It's like, they could probably just try to force the issue and end the game. They could focus on purely just farming, but they want to have some fun, threaten Na'Vi, and make them nervous before they go for the win.
I suppose so, but every second they wait is a second where Faceless Void really becomes a more relevant hero. The Aghanim Scepter is going to be followed up by some damage-dealing items, and yeah, they actually are in a position to lose this game as it progresses. The Refresher Orb on Razor will be absolutely immense. Don't get me wrong about that. He's going to be just nearly 1v3ing, but all the same, there is plenty of room to throw, even in a game that is 23-5 and Virtus Pro having pretty much all the towers.
As the saying goes, never underestimate the potential for throw. It is a lesson you will learn the hard way if you play Dota long enough. If VP try to dive right now, this could end badly for them. Na'Vi are smoked, lurking on the low ground. And they'll actually send Havost out. This time they're baiting him, though. Will VP bite? Thank you, Ace. Appreciate that. And they are still diving. They really want the Shadow Demon, but Yol's going to blink out. And it seems like VP, they're content to just push out the lanes. They want to draw Na'Vi back and have an easy Roshan. Got him getting caught by a Shadow Strike. Well, Dendi chased this one. He's got a BKB ready. Does he go for a kill? Up to the high ground goes Funny. Well, they lose the gem.
Huge.
That's big.
That's the risk that comes with it. They only dewarded a couple of wards there, but in the end, it goes over to the team that wants to prevent the Invis, the Moonlight Shadow, etc. And actually now a Disruption coming out onto Funnick.
Oh no, that's a Ravage, but he backtracked the damage! Funnick's too tanky! He's gonna turn with the Mystic Flare! Oh no, the Purge does a little bit. Sadoi will live through this though, and then he can force step forward with a Blink ready as well. Might be able to track Funnick down. The Urn Charge, the Anchor Smash, everything thrown. Oh, no Anchor Smash just yet. There you go. Nails him. The gem's passed like a hot potato, right back the other way. Meanwhile, BZZ pursuing out Havost, both of the big right-clicking ranged heroes, duking it out. But it seems BZZ's the one in an awkward predicament. They might lose their Razor as well. He runs back in. No, he'll get the kill before going down. Dendi delivers the ult from the backside, but only gets the one kill in the Razor. Now Bankscore's left on his own. Tide will smack down the bird. And the gem, in the end, is maintained, so they lose 3. The Chrono's down, albeit it will be off cooldown in 15 seconds with the egg, so not a big deal. But they're looking for another arrow. Don't get in range for it.
If they had just walked away with the Mirana pick, that would have been just a really nice, clean win for Na'Vi. But if Funnick stays around, he tries to whack the Tidehunter a couple times. Although the Kraken Shell block is negated by Chronosphere, he's still pretty tanky. And of course, the Razor coming in with the mech made it an impossible kill. So if he had just ran out, I think they would have felt a lot better about how that transpired. But at least this time he's carrying a TP. At least this time Funnick will be able to escape if he finds himself in such a situation. But only so much room for error here. We do see the Aegis and Cheese are now picked up on the Templar Assassin and Mirana, respectively.
And Razor has Refresher, pretty much. Like, he's pretty much got everything. No, I mean, he doesn't have it quite yet, but he's real close to it. 3,700 gold. Already has the Oblivion staff picked up, so has it within, like, the next minute or two if he wants to purchase it. And I don't see any reason not to. Just pass him the Cheese if you need it, and yeah, then go for the high ground. This is the push. As VP to me, like, they can wait another Roche or two. These heroes still scale pretty well. Razor and TA, but why bother? You're really strong right now. Na'Vi have virtually no damage. If you wait too long, Void gets that one big damage item, Maelstrom, Masquemandus, or maybe just, like, Maelstrom into Daedalus or something. Like, just one damage item. Suddenly he picks up your Shadow Demon, maybe he kills off the TA before she pops for Fraction. Things can go wrong. They just have a way of happening when Void is Chrono. So, better just to end it now, cleanly, and like a Band-Aid, just rip it right off.
Yeah, going for the quick kill. For now, though, we're going to see some D-warded come out. They're going to drop down the Sentry, clean up an Observer ward. Funnick in an okay position to just dodge out. No arrows flying his way or anything. But, yeah, right now, I mean, without the Hex on Dendi, I'm really not confident in anything they can accomplish, even with the Chronosphere, but I don't know. It's all about time. It's all about trying to find the opening, the return, maybe even just like one pickoff to defuse the push before it happens. But the Moonlight Shadow comes through. Central Ward is not down, but he sees them right before they fade. The Mirana ulti is only at rank 1, so long fade time, and FNG will catch wind of it.
Yeah, hits level 11, but generally rank 1 Mirana ult is plenty good. It's just one of those unfortunate timings where it just was fading. But yeah, Ags Refresher. That's all I'm waiting for if I'm VP. I don't see much. Do they have a Tide Refresher soon? No, he just completed Pipe. So yeah, this should be it. Maybe they just go and don't just save for buyback on the Razor. Let's see. They'll give him Cheese now. And they will look for Funnick. He time walks out a bit. Stoik could blink in on this with the Blink Force. He could get in
No,
range
no,
and
no,
Funnick caught by the arrow. Do they commit to this one fully? Razor stealing damage, not jumping in too much. He's just going to kill him off alone. They didn't even have to commit the Ravage. This might be the high ground. BZZ's in through the front door. And with the mech popped, he continues to zap this tower down. Where's the backup for Na'Vi? They got to hold the line. The push is also coming from the bottom side. G's here. And he continues to chip away at this tower. They'll actually group up as 5. And this will prompt a Void buyback. Now the Echo. Direct into BZZ. He gets defensively disrupted. The Yo with the plays. And the Chrono misses. It doesn't get BZZ. Oh, that's all she wrote. They needed a perfect Chrono. It was just a few hairs short. And now Na'Vi will crumble. They can force in Ravage if they want. Dive towards this base, but they don't need to. And they'll look at their first tier 3 tower here. Probably more. Still cheese up on BZZ. Could pass it over to G. But he has Aegis, so they'll reserve that. And he'll just keep on chipping on the range racks. Still they have Ravage. They haven't even blown that yet. Void on the sidelines for 50 seconds. Well, he'll have a Chrono when he comes back, but the damage is done. And this is with 6k gold banked on the Razor. I mean, just buy your refresher, man. But hey, I guess it doesn't matter. Man. Nice Yule's dodge. Nice Yule's dodge by Havost. Doesn't matter, though. He's back to the well. This will be the first lane of racks, and do they go for 2? That's the question now.
Yeah, I don't think it's really overstepping. Dendi just bought his Scythe of Vice, so no buyback for him. 50 seconds of the grave, their main source of damage is not here. FNG doesn't have Echo. They could just keep Sodoi in the front line and keep going for the buildings. They don't want to dive past tier 4s, but they certainly can just take
they do want to dive past tier 4s, please. You are wrong about that, my friend. They'll kill by score. And G may look for Havost. Oh, they'll settle for a second lane of racks. This is going to be it for Na'Vi. They've lost too much. Too much building damage. Their cores are in shambles. They just don't have the farm on Havost. He needs like 2 more tier 4 items. And
oh, 2 shots. Oh, man, those crits.
Yeah, G going ham. Didn't even lose this Aegis, by the way. The cheese was popped. That was the full cost of this 2 lanes of racks. Was the cheese.
It's a hefty barter system there. Tough trade, but yeah, Na'Vi going down 7-34. They needed just so much more to come back into this one after that brutal early game. Once again, just looking at that Jada Morana and saying, how do you withstand that without the ban?
And that's a pretty convincing victory for VP, I gotta say. So I think with that, M5 is knocked out, and we have our final 4 set, which would be Na'Vi, Empire, NVMI, and who is the last one? I'm trying to remember. And Virtus Pro. So VP with this win, they will be 3-2. Na'Vi will be 2-3, and Na'Vi has the head-to-head tiebreaker over Moscow 5. So M5 and Hellraisers, I believe, are eliminated. I will double-check that with the admins. There's a slight chance we could have a tiebreak match if they want to play one, but I think given the delays and given all the issues they've had today, it's after midnight there. They're probably just going to call it a night. So assuming it's over, guys, Blaze, thank you for joining me. You guys, you can follow him on Twitter at BlazeCasting. If you want to support him, click the follow button on Twitter. As for myself, at LDDota. For VODs of today's broadcast, head over to youtube.com/BeyondTheSummit.tv. This one will be uploading immediately. We had some great games earlier today. Honestly, some of the early games were more exciting than this one, and had some more creative picks, especially the Goblet game. Always seems to deliver. Yeah, with that being said, guys, that will wrap up coverage of Gameshow League. Tomorrow, the playoffs, the final day of DreamHack Moscow, the first Dota 2 event there. And with that being said, we're going to call it a wrap. Star Ladder is continuing. If you want to check that out, twitch.tv/DotaStarLadder_yen. Thank you all for watching Beyond the Summit. We'll see you next.